Thank you. Before we start the program tonight, I just want to take a moment of silence. Councilor Novel Alexander, his wife passed away suddenly last Sunday. That's why he is not with us this evening. He expects to rejoin us in the near future. And for all the outpouring love and support that he and his family have received, I'd like to do a moment of silence. And he reached out to me tonight. So, moment of silence, please. Thank you. Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to the 2025 State of the City Address by Mayor Charlie Sositsky. Our mayor has completed 3 years in office, and we eagerly anticipate the insights the mayor will share with us this evening regarding his achievements thus far and his aspirations for the remainder of his first term. I want to acknowledge the legislative delegation in the audience this evening: Rep. Danielle Gregor, Rep. Jack Patrick Lewis, Rep. Priscilla Souza, and Rep. Kate Donahue. I'd also like to recognize former City Council Chair Dennis Giambetti on his birthday this evening, and he's with us, representing Senate President Karen Spilka. I would also like to recognize my fellow City Councilors in the room tonight. We have Councilor Janet Leon-Bruno, Councilor George King, we have Councilor Long, Councilor Ward, Councilor Steiner, Councilor Cannon, Councilor Malik, and Councilor Leslie White-Harvey. Thank you all for being here. Also in attendance are our elected school committee members, elected library trustees, and our elected cemetery trustees. I also see in the audience this evening our COO, Michael Tassino, many division and department heads, as well as many dedicated city employees. I want to acknowledge your dedicated efforts, which do not go unnoticed by myself and the entire city council, and of course the mayor. I also want to acknowledge all of our volunteers and members of boards and commissions and committees that also joined us this evening. Thank you to all of you and all the residents who came out tonight for the State of the City in person. The speech is also being broadcast live on the government channel tonight. I'd like everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by U.S. Army First Lieutenant Brian Doyle, who is a member of the Framingham Police Department. Brian?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Next, I would like to introduce and welcome Framingham High Junior Maddie Tessitore, who just finished starring as Sandy in the Framingham High Drama Company's production of Grease, to sing our national anthem. Maddie, please come up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was truly amazing. Let's give another round of applause to Maddie. We have an amazing fine and performing arts department at Framingham High School. To all the people from the high school, thank you for all you do. Now I would like to welcome U.S. Army National Guard Captain Luis Alvarez to deliver the invocation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening. I invite you to pray with me according to your faith tradition. We come before you, Lord, grateful for the gift of community, for the opportunity to come together to celebrate a beautiful today and the hope of an even brighter tomorrow for our great city of Framingham. We give thanks for the leadership of Mayor Sositsky, whose dedication, wisdom, and tireless work have contributed to the many strides our city has made over the recent years. As we stand on the threshold of a new year of work, we ask for continued blessings for the mayor and his leadership team. May their vision for the future, a city that thrives on inclusivity, opportunity, and unity, be realized. We also ask for your blessings upon all of our city officials and workers, councils, task forces, and countless volunteers who work alongside our mayor. May they be strengthened by your grace, knowing that their work today shapes the future for generations to come. Grant them the insight to make decisions that are just, the perseverance to overcome challenges, and the humility to serve with integrity. Finally, Lord, we lift up to you our mayor's family and all of the families of those who serve alongside him on our city. May they be surrounded by love and support, finding peace and joy in one another's company, and may their support of our officials enable our city to continue to lead the Commonwealth with humility and service to others. As we embark on this year, we pray for unity and collaboration, for guidance in the decisions ahead, and for a continued spirit of hope and progress in our city. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Tough to get old, folks, because I get the glasses out. Thank you very much, Captain Alvarez. Before we get to the main event, our mayor and his speech, I'd like to say a few words about the leader of our legislative branch of our city government. Our founding fathers framed our government with checks and balances, and when Framingham changed its form of government from a town to a city in 2018, the charter provided checks and balances for all of us. The mayor is the executive branch of our government, and the 11-member city council is our legislative delegation and branch. We, the city council, create ordinances and confirm or reject the mayor's nominations and his financial recommendations, including the budget. The mayor oversees the day-to-day operations of our city. The relationship between the mayor and our city council has been cooperative and collaborative over the last 3 years. There is an open line of communication where we're making progress on some major projects. Prior to his arrival at the podium, allow me to provide a brief biography of our mayor, Charlie Sositsky. Mayor Charlie Sositsky is a seasoned and accomplished municipal executive with 40 years of public administration leadership experience. He's been a Framingham resident and homeowner since 1971. Charlie has an extensive record of public service in our community. He raised his 4 children, all graduates of the Framingham Public Schools. Charlie served on the Potter Road PTO. He was a youth baseball coach. He served on our finance committee, and he was a town meeting member. From 1998 to 2018, Charlie served on the Board of Selectmen, and for many years served as chair. After Framingham's adoption of our city charter, Charlie was elected to the city council from District 1. He served as the chair of the Planning and Zoning Subcommittee for the City Council, and he was also the vice chair of our City Council. Charlie has a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from WPI and a master's degree in Community Planning and Area Development from URI. Charlie became the youngest city planner in Massachusetts, serving as the planning director in Medford, Mass. After that, as the planning director for the town of Natick, where he eventually became the town's director of public works, a position he held for 20 years. Let's welcome our mayor, our friend to the podium, Charlie Sositsky.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. It's my honor to welcome you to my fourth State of the City address. Thank you to City Council Chair Phil Oliviani for your kind words. I appreciate your partnership to promote the best interests of the city. And thank you to Framingham High Junior Maddie Tessitore for your beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Phil already mentioned that Maddie played the lead role in Grease as Sandy D. I expected to see a blonde come up here to sing the national anthem, but now I realize she's not a blonde. I also want to thank U.S. Army First Lieutenant Brian Doyle, who is a member of the Framingham Police Department. And thank you, Brian, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And of course, Chaplain Luis Alvarez of the Massachusetts Army National Guard, thank you for your moving invocation. Really appreciate your participation. I also want to acknowledge the presence of representatives of our federal and state legislative delegations, and representative from our Senate President Spilka's office, members of the City Council, School Committee, Cemetery and Library trustees, and members of boards and commissions and committees, all of whom volunteer your time to support the valuable work going on in our city. I am grateful and honored to work alongside all of our city employees. Not a day goes by when you don't go above and beyond to make sure that the needs of our residents and businesses are met. To my administrative team, my sincere gratitude for all that you do to support my vision and goals for the city. I never take for granted that you have all allowed me to serve this esteemed office as the mayor of Framingham. To my family, thank you for your unwavering support, along with the sacrifices that you have made to enable me to make a positive impact. And special thanks to my wife, Robin. Leading the city of Framingham is a huge full-time responsibility, and I'm grateful for having the opportunity to be your mayor. The more than 75,000 members of our city create a tapestry of diverse backgrounds, cultures, and experiences, making the beauty of each of our neighborhoods unique and something we should all embrace, cherish, and celebrate. This past weekend, I, along with several members of the City Council and members of my staff, attended the Massachusetts Municipal Association Connect 351 conference. I was inspired by featured guest speaker Sunil Gupta, an American entrepreneur and author. He asked, "What is your why?" which gave me the opportunity to consider my why. I get up every day with energy and enthusiasm. My why comes from the belief that we can make Framingham the best it can possibly be for our children, our seniors, and everyone in between. I relish the challenge of solving problems which go along with building a city that understands the value of coming together. In my first 3 years as mayor, I have achieved many accomplishments. The Framingham Farmers Market continues to be extremely popular. In March, the city hosted the Massachusetts Farmers Markets Association annual conference with over 100 people in attendance right here in Nevins Hall. The market season opened on June 20th, which was one of the hottest days in 2024. All told, a total 2024 attendance was almost 26,000 people. The Framingham Farmers Market has become one of the most successful farmers markets in the Commonwealth. And the 2025 Farmers Market will open on Thursday, June 19th. I brought fireworks back to the city, and I'm pleased to announce that our third annual fireworks event will return on Friday, June 27th at Farm Pond. More than 15,000 people attended last year, and we anticipate an even more robust event this year. Already, a large group of dedicated city employees are well into planning for this year's event. I'm often approached by residents who tell me how much they appreciate and how grateful they are to have fireworks in Framingham. Throughout the year, we held multiple events to improve the quality of life of our residents. Activities included free skating at Lorraine Arena, the Flag Day Parade, raising the Pride and Disability flags, Friday night concerts on the Common, Spooktacular at City Hall that drew over 700 people, Indigenous Peoples Day at Farm Pond, and a tree lighting celebration which included closing Union Avenue, to name a few. Additional events for this year include a unique car show featuring automobiles throughout the history of Framingham, using our new portable stage to bring events into neighborhoods, and the first annual Framingham Day to be held on Saturday, October 4th, which has been created to honor the artistic, cultural, and diverse community that we proudly call home. My administration has acquired land to extend the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail into Framingham, and we are currently developing designs for both the Bruce Freeman Trail and Chris Walsh Memorial Trail. We have also initiated the cleanup and redesign of Mary Dennison Park. And in order to mitigate the cost of the cleanup, we successfully negotiated an agreement with Avery Dennison to pay for the majority of the remediation cost. This new park will provide residents with an accessible playground, fitness area, picnic pavilion, athletic fields, sports courts, and of course, a splash pad. I officially reopened the Arlington Street Playground last summer. New improvements in that playground include the city's first splash pad, play elements, and retractable futsal goals within the basketball court. In conjunction with the Park and Recreation Department, we were able to install new scoreboards at Fuller Field, as well as energy-efficient lighting improvements, laser grading, and fence and dugout improvements at Long's Athletic Complex last year. There was a lot of activity during the skating season at Lorraine Arena. We hosted 4 MIAA playoff games, which added $15,000 of revenue to the arena. Framingham Youth Hockey and Avita Bank organized a skate with NHL star Patrice Bergeron, who graciously skated at the rink for 2 hours with members of Framingham Youth Hockey. To kick off the 325th anniversary of Framingham, Lorraine Arena hosted a well-attended free public skate for the community. Close to 250 people came together to skate and celebrated with cake. The Park and Rec Department manages hundreds of acres of city property, including athletic fields, neighborhood parks and playgrounds, a dog park, a skate park, as well as 6 new permanent pickleball facilities, tennis and basketball courts, aqueduct trails, and several hundred acres of active and passive parks. Renovations have already begun on the former Marion High School with the goal of converting it to a citywide community center. The removal of the obsolete heating system and removal of hazardous materials has been completed. The next phase will be the installation of new windows and a roof. We are working with the Mayor's Advisory Committee to develop the detailed plan for the reuse of this 100,000 square foot building. In 2024, the City of Framingham's grant manager worked closely with various city departments to secure a number of grants. Some of these include a $2 million State Housing Works grant for the construction of the intersection improvements at Fountain Street and Dudley Road, a $420,000 Mass Trails grant for Phase 2 of the Bruce Freeman Trail, and $100,000 for the Carol Getchell Trail. Additionally, $850,000 was secured for the design of Phase 2 of the Chris Walsh Memorial Trail, following last year's $3.7 million in federal funds for Phase 1. In conjunction with our Planning and Community Development Department, we also secured some of the following grants: a Mass Downtown Initiative Grant Award, a $1 million Mass Works grant to fund public utility improvements at Mary Dennison Park, and a $215,000 Massachusetts Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Grant to preserve over 40 acres of land in South Framingham, which will eventually provide a connection to the Upper Charles Trail. The Planning Board, by special permit, approved the first designed agri-hood development in Massachusetts that integrates residential living within an active farm. Active adult housing development, which offers luxurious living and pastures and ponds while surrounded by more than 800 acres of protected land, is already underway, and the total value of new growth when completed will exceed $80 million. Our Inspectional Services Department issued 8,100 building permits, resulting in over $3.1 million in collected fees. The department's inspectors performed over 10,000 inspections of varying degree. Among the building permits that issued were for renovations at the TJX building at 550 Cochituate Road. This was a vacant building that TJX purchased and invested over $45 million in renovations to expand their Framingham operations. TJX continues to demonstrate their desire and commitment to remain in Framingham by recently purchasing 2 additional vacant office buildings to expand their campus. In order to address the long-standing water and sewer billing problem, we prepared a comprehensive water and sewer rate analysis with the goal of stabilizing the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund, ensuring equitable cost distribution among users, promoting water and conservation, and supporting vital infrastructure improvements. As a result, we were able to develop a revised rate structure for water and sewer billing. We are making progress with building a new elementary school on the south side. Following the city's acceptance into the Massachusetts School Building Authority's funding program, the school administration, together with our school building committee, has reached each significant milestone in advancing this project. This reflects the city's commitment to delivering a modern, sustainable, and inclusive educational facility for our community. Thank you. During 2024, the DPW completed many infrastructure improvements throughout the city. These projects included the reconstruction of streets in the Cedar Street neighborhood with new granite curbing, sidewalks with ADA ramps, and improvements to the stormwater drainage. Similar work was also done on a section of Brook Street. We installed new crosswalks with ADA ramps on several other locations in the city. Over 3 miles of streets in the Pinefield neighborhood were resurfaced, and the intersection improvements at Edger Road and Central Street, which include new traffic signals and turning lanes, are nearly complete. And thank you. Final paving is scheduled for this spring. Other infrastructure improvements include the replacement of 3,200 feet of sewer main, 5,500 feet of water main, and relining of over 13,000 feet of sewer main. And I know that sounds boring to you, but it's very important for the residents of the city who use those facilities and depend on a modern and well-running infrastructure. The Worcester Road Sewer Pumping Station is under reconstruction. The station accommodates over 25% of the city's sewer flow. Other sewer pump station improvements include Garvey Road and Flanagan Drive, and we are working on a design for improvements to the sewer pump stations located on Gates Road and Weld and Victor Streets, as well as working on the Elm Street water pumping station. And We are also near completion of the Walnut Street flood mitigation and boardwalk project. With the growing impacts of climate change, we recognize the critical role in advancing sustainability initiatives that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We are actively pursuing green energy initiatives such as installing solar panels on municipal buildings, installing EV charging stations, and seeking out opportunities to purchase electric vehicles for the municipal fleet. We are working with Eversource on their geothermal project. Phase 1 is nearly complete, and the design has begun for Phase 2. Framingham Community Electricity will be coming online in March. This program will enable residential and small businesses to purchase green energy as well as provide stable and competitive pricing. And for the 34th consecutive year, Framingham was named a Tree City USA community. Thank you. Using an environmental justice grant from the Department of Conservation and Recreation, the city's tree warden and staff from the DPW planted 28 shade trees along Grant Street. We plan on establishing a new municipal tree planting program for the coming year to serve the environmental justice neighborhoods and other areas in the city. The Mayor's Compost Task Force, with a mission to promote citywide composting and remove organic waste from the waste stream, has selected a preferred vendor. The city received a $22,000 grant to purchase compost bins, which will be offered for free to the first 1,000 homes who sign up for the program. We cannot ignore that climate change is happening here, and it is happening now. The Technology Services Department initiated the implementation of OpenGov, an online program that streamlines permitting, licensing, and code enforcement. This system enhances communication both between city departments and the public. Areas of the city, including the Arlington Street Park, now benefit from an expanded city-owned fiber network, providing enhanced security through surveillance cameras and free Wi-Fi access for residents. This initiative underscores the city's commitment to fostering safer and more connected public spaces. Led by our DEI officer, we expanded our summer internship program, and two of the participants in that program ended up getting job opportunities with the city. We are anticipating another successful internship program this year. And our DEI officer provided over 120 employees with DEI training and will expand training offerings to all city boards, committees, and commissions this year. In September, the library hosted the Spooktastic Book Fair, an event with over 50 authors, attracting over 1,500 attendees. The Library of Things collection offers library card holders the opportunity to borrow and use things ranging from snowshoes to paper shredders and everything in between. The broad range of adult programming enriched over 11,600 patrons, a number that includes only in-person attendees. And the Children's Department offered story times and programming in Mandarin, Spanish, and Portuguese, in addition to the regular schedule of robust programming that brought over 13,000 visits from kids. The bookmobile was seen throughout the community, and it reached over 10,000 patrons. The branch library was recognized by the National Wildlife Federation as a certified wildlife ambassador for its pollinator garden. It's critical to make sure every child in our city has access to quality education, as this is an investment in our future. I have always supported the Framingham Public Schools and strongly believe that it's important to improve the educational quality of our schools. The school department has partnered with Mass Bay and Framingham State University, where Framingham Public School students enjoy dual enrollment and early college opportunities. Many Framingham Public School students graduate from the high school with transferable college credits, and in some cases completed associate's degree. The Framingham Public Schools Welcome Center and Student Registration Department is now located at the Farley Building, where other Framingham Public Schools Central Administration Departments are located. This ensures that families have a wider access to resources. The expansion of pre-K opportunities for Framingham families serves 4-year-old children both within the Framingham Public Schools and at our partner sites at Framingham State University, the YMCA, and Loving Nest Preschool. The Framingham Adult English as a Second Language program, with over 1,350 adults, has become the largest adult basic education program in New England. This program was one of only 2 programs nationwide selected by the Carnegie Corporation to conduct a $300,000 pilot program. School busing continues to have a significant impact on our students and community. I continue to work with the school administration and school committee on a challenge to implement an alternative plan that will improve the school busing problem for the next school year. We continue to work with Framingham State University on several initiatives to develop a closer working relationship with the city. I have held numerous meetings with President Nancy Nemi and her staff and appreciate her willingness to work with us. Last January, we welcomed the opening of the new Mass Bay Health Sciences Early Childhood and Human Services Center. The center, under the leadership of President Dr. David Podell, will prepare area residents for challenging career paths that lead to economic prosperity throughout the Metro West. This building houses the only certified simulation center in the region for unparalleled education and training in nursing and allied health professions. The city's Veteran Services Department and Veterans Council launched the Hometown Heroes Banner Program, recognizing 30 of our veterans as a living tribute to honor past and present members of the armed forces. Holiday wreaths of remembrance were placed at each of the seven cemeteries in the city. In addition, community volunteers placed over 5,500 flags on veterans' graves. Yes. Memorial Day, as well as Veterans Day programs, were held to recognize and honor the men and women who have worn the military uniform of the United States Armed Services. Medals of Liberty and Medals of Fidelity were presented to families of those veterans who made significant contributions to the cause of our freedom. I am happy to recognize that Governor Maura Healey recently signed the Historic Heroes Act, an act honoring, empowering, and recognizing our service members. We have begun to implement the first phase of this act and will be recommending to the City Council that the rest of the Heroes Act be approved to take effect in July of this year. Our Citizen Participation Officer, the CPO, has been diligently working to fill many of the positions on the 47 boards, committees, and commissions. We have appointed over 65 people in just the last 10 months. Our legal department has been working with the CPO to offer open meeting law training to members of these boards, committees, and commissions. We are employing a variety of communication tools to effectively engage with city residents and businesses. Language access remains a top priority for my administration. The city's website is available in more than 100 languages thanks to AI technology. The city's public information officer, the PIO, is consistently producing citywide communications in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Portuguese, and recently Hindi has also been added to this initiative. My administration has secured a state earmark to install a multi-language kiosk in the Memorial Building to enhance customer service. The city's complimentary weekly newsletter continues to expand in popularity. Each Sunday it features more than 36 items. The newsletter has increased from 1,000 to over 2,500 subscribers with an 80% open rate. The city's social media presence has significantly expanded over the past year. In 2024, the city's Facebook page surpassed 10,000 followers. In the last 28 days alone, we had almost 500,000 page views on the city's Facebook page, and we reached almost 50,000 individuals. And the city has also embraced various additional platforms. On June 25th, the city of Framingham will commemorate a significant milestone. 325 years since its establishment as a town and now incorporated as a city. I have established a celebration committee dedicated to planning a variety of events throughout the year. Events will include historical, cultural, artistic activities, etc., which will be reflective of the diversity of our city. Thank you. I have attended many events and meetings hosted by both the Framingham Business Association and Downtown Framingham, Inc., to learn more about ways that the city can help them prosper. My administration collaborated with women-owned and Latino-owned small businesses to host the inaugural Framingham Business Expo last September. The event culminated with a stunning fashion show that showcased clothing from local Brazilian boutiques. Also in September, my administration partnered with numerous organizations to host the inaugural Find Your People Fair. The primary objective of this event was to address the issue of loneliness by providing adults with opportunities to discover and engage in various hobbies. We plan to host these events again this year. I held meetings in all 9 districts to hear firsthand from the residents about their issues and ideas for their neighborhoods. Joining me at these meetings were members of the City Council, School Committee, Police and Fire Departments, DPW, Park and Rec, Planning and Economic Development, and other members of my staff. Residents have expressed appreciation for the opportunity to voice their opinions and contribute to the decision-making process that shapes our community. I will hold another round of these district meetings this year. As a result of legislative approval last year, I appointed members to an Economic Development Corporation, the EDC. The members of this committee will have already begun working on how they can coordinate with my administration toward promoting economic growth in the city. The corporation will collaborate with public agencies, private enterprises, and nonprofit organizations to develop and manage projects that strengthen the city's economic infrastructure. I envision this coordination to also include creating a public-private partnership, which I have been working on, to build a new community swimming pool, as well as upgrades for improving accessibility in the Memorial Building to enhance its ability to attract regional events. I reactivated the Cushing Memorial Chapel Advisory Committee, which had been inactive since Framingham became a city in 2018. The committee, in conjunction with the Veterans Council and my office, held a memorable 80th anniversary celebration in late fall and will work on ideas for making improvements to the chapel to make it more accessible for community use. The Public Health Clinic, in partnership with the Framingham Public Schools, continued to provide critical vaccinations to the school population, addressing access to health care barriers. With the use of opioid settlement funds, we hired an outreach and prevention coordinator to serve the opioid task force and address the prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery efforts to reverse the course of addiction. We hosted the Remote Access Medical Clinic, RAM, in August, providing critical medical services to hundreds of residents, such as general medical, dental, and vision care to those without access. The RAM Clinic will once again be held at Keefe Tech this summer. This past year, the Health Department relocated its offices from City Hall and a storefront on Concord Street to new quarters at 188 Concord Street, which is a city-owned building adjacent to City Hall. The Capital Projects and Facilities Management Division was responsible for the successful renovation of this space to facilitate these moves. Throughout the past year, the Framingham Police Department continued to work closely with the Framingham Fire Department, along with the police and fire departments of the town of Natick, on our new Regional Emergency Dispatch Center. In 2024, we received a 911 grant from the Executive Office of Safety and Security and the State 911 Commission to proceed with this joint venture. A director has been hired, and we are now in the process of upgrading and enhancing our current equipment and infrastructure needs. The center will also be located at 188 Concord Street and will begin operating in early 2026. The legal department helped facilitate the completion of the intermunicipal agreement between Framingham and Natick, which established this district. The introduction of body-worn cameras came to fruition in 2024. This program is designed to not only improve community relations, but to also improve the quality of interactions between officers and members of the public. The Police Department's Community Impact Unit, CIU, continues its two-pronged approach of law enforcement and outreach. In addition to helping those struggling with untreated mental health issues, homelessness, and addiction. In November alone, the CIU responded to over 200 calls for service in the city. The officers of the Framingham Police Department took part in a wide variety of safety programs and community outreach efforts, including Shop with a Cop, the Police Athletic League, the Framingham Youth Police Academy, and the Read Aloud program, a program that brings Framingham police officers to local elementary schools. We work closely with Senate President Karen Spilka's office and state agencies to ensure that the proposed Regional Justice Center will be located in downtown Framingham. We are confident that this will have a positive impact on the downtown economy and the city as a whole. Our legal department represented the city in the conveyance of the former Danforth Art Museum to the Commonwealth for the development of the Regional Justice Center. We also negotiated a memorandum with the Commonwealth for conveyance to the city of the existing district court parcel once the Regional Justice Center has been constructed and opened. The fire department recently put a new Engine 3 into service, along with a new Rescue 1 that is equipped with upgraded extrication and technical rescue equipment. The department also hired 10 new firefighters, had special training for the command staff, and received and implemented over $225,000 in state and federal grants. During the year, the fire department responded to over 32,000 emergency calls, which equates to almost 90 calls per day. The fire prevention division completed over 5,700 inspections. The fire department also provided training for school department personnel and library employees in first aid and CPR, as well as DPW training on trench safety and CPR training for public health employees. The Callahan Center's attendance was over 37,000 in 2024. The center's van provided 1,635 rides, which were mostly to get people to medical appointments and for grocery shopping. Over 2,000 older adults participated in cultural programs ranging from history to the arts. Social services staff provided 4,500 interactions for older adults needing physical, mental, emotional, and financial assistance. The Callahan Center hired bilingual employees to assist the diverse population of Framingham. All of these accomplishments took bold vision and leadership, and they will significantly enhance the lives of residents. Tonight, I am proud to report that the state of our city remains strong. Thank you. I am encouraged by the progress we've made, but know there is still work to do. The challenges we face are not insurmountable if we work together. Difficult decision-making encapsulates the burden of choice that often comes with effective leadership. It requires the ability to make tough choices and prioritize the greater good, even if it means facing resistance or displeasure. One of the most critical yet divisive events of the past year revolved around the necessity to make Framingham compliant with the MBTA Communities Act. As the December 31st deadline for compliance approached, I felt the crucial need for the city to submit documentation that we were in compliance, despite the fact that no final action had been taken to amend the zoning ordinance. I and members of my staff determined that we could make a strong case to the state that the existing zoning provisions in the downtown area met the requirements of the MBTA Communities Act. Thank you. I was not willing to put the city in a position to face legal consequences and loss of grant funding by not complying with the December 31st deadline. After numerous conversations with the governor, lieutenant governor, and staff at the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, I am pleased to report that our application for compliance has received conditional approval, and I am confident that upon the requisite documentation, we will receive final approval. The ability to continue with our various projects and maintain existing operations is partially dependent on what happens on the federal level as well as the state level. Our federal legislative delegation has been very supportive of us in terms of earmarking grants, yet there's no guarantee that the new administration in Washington will follow through with the approval of the necessary appropriations. After listening to the governor and lieutenant governor at the MMA annual meeting, I am encouraged by the recommendations on increasing the amount of local aid from the previous year. Getting back to my why, I revere the partnerships that I have built between our businesses, schools, and residents. I serve as your mayor with the unwavering belief that we come together our collective efforts are far greater with strength. Due to recent changes in immigration policy at the federal level, I will convene a task force on Wednesday with city departments, community organizations, and local religious leaders to listen to their concerns on strategizing and ways to strategize for a response. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I commit to you that I will always work to ensure that our city is a place of promise, of progress, and of pride. That is why I do what I do. It's not for recognition or reward, but because I believe in the power of community, the strength of unity, and the potential of our city. Together, we can create a brighter future for all of us, where families can thrive, businesses can grow, and every resident feels valued. My why is also about hope. Hope that when we look back years from now, we'll see a city transformed by the collective effort of all of us. Hope that our children will inherit a place where they can grow, dream, and succeed as they truly are our future. If we come together and believe in the strength and diversity of Framingham, I am confident that we can accomplish what I have set out for our future. Last week, as we remembered the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., these words resonated with me. The time is always right to do what is right. We must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. I welcome anyone who is willing to think big and bold to join me on this journey. It takes collaborative and creative thinking along with leadership, which can make this all a reality. And lastly, I ask you to think about your why. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support and commitment to Framingham. Let's continue to move forward in a spirit of cooperation and respect so we can grow stronger together. Thank you and good night. Where's the music? Thank you all.
The Government Channel's core mission for over a quarter century has been to make the Framingham City government accessible to everyone. We were there from the final decades of town government to the historic city transition, as well as covering the political actions of past, current, and future city leaders. The Government Channel guarantees ready access to many of Framingham's public meetings, enabling a reliable connection to open discourse. Your Government Channel continues to document and preserve our local history, because understanding the city charter, community obligations, and our citizens' rights allows everyone to participate effectively in our democracy. The Government Channel, telling Framingham's story.